All right. Yeah, still recording. I've actually been wearing these clothes all day, despite the fact that it's an hour now. And I got a little surprise nostalgia critic video today, but I'm gonna keep it on here before we. Yeah, I can see it. A simulation, inside a simulation, inside a simulation, and all those little micro dots going infinite. Wait, did you guys see a bolt spun? Did I just see a bolt spun? That must be my impression. Because like that, no, it's just the light. And yeah, maybe there is a hairline there. I hope I'm not balding. Yeah, I'm fiddling with the video settings just so. Yeah, Jay Ward was a pretty prominent cartoonist. In fact, let me look up Jay Ward for just a second before we start the video. Jay Ward, yeah, Joseph Ward Jr. Yeah, also known as Jay Ward, was an American creator and producer of animation TV shows. So let's see what he's done over the years. Crusader Rabbit, Rocky and Bullwinkle, Dudley and Do Right, Peabody and Sherman. I've seen that one. Yeah, and George of the Jungle. And yeah, sadly passed away. I remember the first movie they made that Hollywood ever made. Um, was George of the Jungle, if I'm not mistaken. The Brendan Fraser one, and it's a pretty fun movie. I enjoy George of the Jungle. I like some of its moments of humor. It's a better movie than the Flintstones. And then but then after that movie became successful, something else came in the form of a Dudley Do Right movie. Which, if I'm not mistaken, Dudley Do Right was a very short cartoon series. They had these always little contained stories. And ultimately, they kind of ran the joke of Dudley is an idiot further down, and they didn't even make it funny. It was funny when, and they were trying to capitalize so hard on the success of George of the Jungle by having Brendan Fraser star in it. And this was when Brendan Fraser was very big with, The Mummy obviously was a huge hit at the box office. And then, but then in the year 2000 came out a certain movie by the name of The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, which is interesting as a kid I used to enjoy this movie, but I've kind of outgrown it and I've seen how not good it is in certain areas. And the director of this movie, what has he done? Des McAnuff is the American Canadian former artistic director of Canada's Stratford Festival and director of such Broadway musical theater productions such as Big River, The Who's Tommy, and Jersey Boys. So he's mostly a stage director, and I think he made two movies. If I'm not mistaken. Cousin Betty. Let me look up the movie. Cousin Betty, 1998 film, which was a pretty good film. Not historically accurate, I can't remember how long. It's been long. And then apparently this was his second film, and it did not make its money back at the box office. Yeah, 76 on it made on like 76 million, a budget of 76 million, and it only made 31.1 million at the box office. An interesting thing is that ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, actually did a lot of the effects here. Yeah. And it's weird, like they had so many good actors in this. Like Rennie Russo, Jason Alexander, and the worst offender of all of them was wait, what? I just the hell Okay, now this is interesting. The film's screenwriter, Kenneth Lonergan. Let me just show you what he's done over the years. Let's see what he's done. How was this? Okay, the screenwriter for Analyze This, Gangs of New York, wrote this movie. Oh, he also directed Margaret, which is a very underrated film. But watch the extended version. The extended version is a better film. And Manchester by the Sea, for which he won an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. Also, playwright. This is just immense visual effects and faithfulness to the source material. But, I've realized when it comes to kids' movies now, they're really not made for me anymore. And you have to judge it. But Doug Walker, the Nostalgia Critic, is going to talk about Rocky and Bullwinkle, and let's see if I agree with some of his points. Let's see if I don't. Only time will tell. Let's start the video.
Done.
Rocky and Bullwinkle! Rocky and Bullwinkle!
Oh yeah, this is the old location.
I confess, I killed you.
Critic?
I killed anyone's interest in seeing you.
Critic, are you okay?
Yeah, what about target practice at Raja Gosnell's house?
Now, Critic, if you don't open the door, we're gonna drink all the Ecto Cooler and leave nothing for you.
I thought we were gonna do that anyway.
No, he doesn't know that.
I think he must have heard that. No!
Oh my god!
Doug!
I'm gonna use a 9mm. Less kickback. Thank you.
Malcolm!
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. He was saying the strangest things about a movie that everyone hates. Clearly, his soul has been twisted by the devil.
Do not worry. If there is one thing I know, it is how to...
I love Walter playing the Ghostbusters priest. I love any role that Walter has in any of these episodes, because he just goes all out in them. The Ghostbusters priest is my favorite of all of them. He's done so many good ones.
force the internet's opinion with shade. It's just good to know that he has such good friends.
With this, there's no chance you can misfire.
Malcolm!
Oh, sorry.
Malcolm? I've always been curious as to why Malcolm has what I assume are beads. Anal beads, necessarily. Don't ask how I know about anal beads. I've seen shit that'll turn you white. Well, whiter, like... I'll show you how white I could probably get. See. White fry. Nine. Oh, no, hold on. Yeah. About as brighter as Fry is here. I mean, yeah. I love Futurama. I like it better than The Simpsons, personally, because at least Futurama ended and didn't have to wait. Well, I think they waited until they were starting to decline in quality, and then they just decided to abruptly end it. And The Simpsons, they still keep going on, and it'll never end. Back to the video.
If you're gonna do something, do it right. You should be proud of me.
I think the opening that Doug was parodying was the opening... Was it the opening of Amadeus? It's been a while. Playing the out of tune.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Your friends told
Essentially what everyone says when a priest or just a reverend shows up.
You were saying some concerning things about a movie. It's okay. All terrible movies are equally bad in the eyes of the internet.
Are they?
That is 100% not true, Walter. I know this from experience. There'll be certain movies. No,
Tell me, how well trained are you in bad film adaptations?
I know a little.
no one really is well trained in bad film adaptations.
Bigger films, mostly.
Ah, then you must know why a Dr. Seuss character sticking his head in a woman's cleavage and having a man kiss a dog's ass doesn't work.
I would still rather watch the live-action Grinch than watch the animated one. Because, yeah.
I can't say that I do. Isn't that the beloved adaptation of The Grinch?
Oh, Craig.
Come on. The best adaptation of the Grinch is the original, third, TV cartoon. The little TV movie that, the one I think was made by Chuck Jones. That movie's classic. I rewound it a lot on VHS, thousands of times.
Alright, well, surely you must know why the Mad Hatter breakdancing and applying rules and logic to an illogical world that can't even represent.
Yeah, that's essentially the problem with every Tim Burton movie is that when he does a remake, he tries so hard to make it different from the original, and it's low in quality.
The title right doesn't work.
I regret it is not too familiar. It does sound like that smash hit Alice in Wonderland, though.
Here. What about this one? An animated moose and squirrel try to save the world from a
Villain with a lame accent?
accent?
They make all sorts of forced puns with sloppy slapstick and no story? Yes, I know that! I'm sorry, I had no idea you despised that film as much as everyone else.
I didn't.
What?
That was Rocky and Bullwinkle.
The film you accuse yourself of killing.
You heard that?
For God's sake, my son, if you have something to confess, do it now.
They were my icons. Rocky and Bullwinkle, the popular TV show that ran from 1959 to 1964. While kids could enjoy the adventures of a cynical squirrel and a brain-dead moose escaping the clutches of Boris, Natasha, and Fearless Leader, adults enjoyed a ton of in-jokes and smart writing that would usually go over most children's heads. It was one of the first animated TV shows where the focus was more on the humor for grown-ups and less on exciting stories for kids, resulting in some brilliant puns.
You went to college? Penn State?
State Penn.
And some not-so-brilliant puns.
It's from Washington.
It's essentially Rocky and Bullwinkle. And I think it was obviously made during the era of the Cold War, so that's where it mostly worked.
Washington! Suppose he heard I was a Lincoln fan?
There was no doubt. It was corny, but still clever. It showed caring little about the scenario could actually be funny itself.
Yeah, I got hit with an ad notification. I hate ad blocker. Bookmarked.
Actually be funny itself if you used it with the right kind of comedy. But, nevertheless, when the movie was advertised years later, people shuddered in disgust. These were clearly some of the worst trailers ever released since any of the trailers in 2016.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I remember these bad the trailer was pretty awful for this. 2016 was not a good year to be a movie trailer. Like, first with Ghostbusters, then Angry Birds, and then Independence Day. Sausage Party, I don't know. I know lots of people who enjoyed Sausage Party, and I like Seth Rogen to a certain degree, but the Sausage Party was just not for me, I guess. Team America did it better, I think, satirizing tropes. But BFG and Star Trek Beyond were good. It's just their trailers sucked. And it's sad, because the whole kerfuffle that's been going on with the Trek series. More recently with Discovery and Picard. And I think Lower Decks.
What's up? I'd like to use one
Yeah,
of my
the trailers here
lifelines,
were bad.
They were bad. Really, really bad. As I read countless requests upon countless requests, I finally decided to watch this sack of moose droppings. As I put the DVD in to review it, I played a little game with myself. The internet despised this movie. Critics gave it a 43% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That is right. Roger Ebert was one of the few people, for example, who actually liked this. I remember that seeing that episode, and of course, Roper despised it, but Ebert enjoyed it. Yeah, 43%. That's a huge difference. Yeah, that's a really huge difference there.
Did it show? Did even the first couple minutes represent how awful this adaptation was? I pushed play on the remote and started to watch.
Rocky and Bullwinkle themselves were forced to subsist on ever-diminishing residual checks from reruns of their old show.
But something strange started to happen to me. Something I didn't think would happen to me after all the hatred and awful advertisements. I started to laugh.
And their plans were crushed by the fall of the Iron Curtain.
Okay, seeing this now, I do say the positive thing about this movie was going back and revisiting certain jokes. And the more I look at the jokes and see what they were doing as a grown up, at least the positive thing were some of the jokes were actually clever, like the fall of the Iron Curtain, obviously. And as a movie, when you're a kid, you think that it just falls off. It's like, oh, it was just paper mache. But that's a joke reference to when did the fall of the Iron Curtain? When did the Iron Curtain fall? Iron Curtain. Yeah, when did the Iron Curtain fall? 1989. That's when they tore it down. The Iron Curtain largely ceased to exist in the 1980-1990 with the communist abandonment of one-party rule in Eastern Europe. So that was a funny joke, at least. I know there's another joke. I can't remember which joke it is, but I think it's in the movie.
That was Rocky and Bullwinkle.
That is funny.
That clearly well-written, faithful adaptation being shown to me on the screen.
While the narrator, that's me, was forced to move in with his mother, where he was reduced to narrating the events of his own life.
It seemed to have the same spirit, the same humor, even kind of a similar animation style. No. This has to be a mistake. It must be. It better be.
I just want to clarify, you tried to kill yourself over this movie?
The movie continued, explaining how Rocky and Bullwinkle were trapped in reruns and their home in the forest been chopped down.
I'm the chairman of the Frostbite Fall Society for Wildlife Conversation.
You mean wildlife conservation?
Well, somebody's gonna start talking about these things.
Even their wordplay had become hackneyed and cheap.
No, it was always like this.
I love that. That's my favorite thing about the Jay Ward cartoons was that they would always have the narrator talk and the characters with fourth wall breaking narrator. I remember that scene from George of the Jungle in the movie when they kidnapped what was the name of the ape in George of the Jungle? Name of the ape from George of the Jungle. Talking gorilla, an ape named Ape. And when they catch it, the two kidnappers who get the ape are like, oh no. And then, the narrator's like, oh no, was right. And then one of the goons talks to the narrator, he's like, hey, why don't you say something helpful once? Like, what we should do now. The narrator straight up says, 'cause I don't like you. That's actually funny. Getting to communicate with the narrator is like, just shut the hell up. I love that. That's easily the best part of Jay Ward cartoons, is the fourth wall breaking narrator. I think Deadpool would have enjoyed. Who knows? Maybe Deadpool is a huge fan of Rocky and Bullwinkle, the cartoon, not the movie.
Wow, they even acknowledge how forced a lot of their humor can be. I'm legitimately confused. This seems like the typical Rocky and Bullwinkle writing, maybe even a little better because of its awareness of how it's being perceived. Surely something has to throw this all off.
Hello, me.
Live action, of course!
Because why the hell not? Why couldn't they just let it be a cartoon?
Now we're going to Brendan Fraser, Brad Pitt, and Robert De Niro this.
Looney Tunes back in action. Cool world. Robert De Niro. Also, this image here is not in the movie. This scene with Bullwinkle and Robert De Niro is not in the movie. It's in the promotional stills for it, but it's never in the movie. That's strange. What the hell, Universal? What the actual hell? Also, this is Jeannie Garofalo.
Up. Oh wait, this was the one he was in. Even better.
Yeah, I think it's because De Niro was the producer on it. It's weird. People can say, how the hell did Robert De Niro get involved with this? But he was also the producer, so that's where I'm mixed with it. As I feel like he's obviously just made it for money. His career's not been good so far with The War with Grandpa, for example.
We see how Jeannie Garofalo chooses her movie scripts.
Too intelligent.
Told you.
When Boris, Natasha, and Fearless Leader convince her that they should make a Rocky and Bullwinkle movie.
What is it?
It's classic American cartoon from early 60s.
And as you know, films based on shows from the 60s always equal cinematic success.
Oh.
So she signs the contract bringing them into the real world. So now we have De Niro as Fearless Leader, Jason Alexander as Boris, and Rene Russo as Natasha.
How did that happen?
We are attached to the project.
Okay, that is funny. That's probably the second funniest joke I've heard from this movie. Because as a kid, I thought, oh, he's glued to it. That's how he gets to it. But attached to the project means something else entirely. It's like, why were you involved? Why did you star in the movie? I'm attached to the project as a producer, and I also have to have a starring role. So that's a clever joke.
Was that your excuse for little fuckers? But the studio president, Carl Reiner, says he don't like moose pictures.
I don't like moose pictures.
But a very specific prejudice. But the evil trio put out RBTV, really bad television, to hypnotize the world through awful shows to do whatever they want. Oh, that explains, I think, everything.
Yeah, Keeping Up with the Kardashians and TMZ. I don't know. I mean, I enjoy Big Bang Theory. It really depends on my preference. Technically everything. They should have put Joey and like Cleveland Show and something else. But I do agree with I've never seen Selfie or Chasing Life. Can't remember if I've ever seen an episode of NCIS. Technically everything, yeah.
But the FBI director, Randy Quaid, I'm back from Canada, is putting his...
Hold on a second. Now you have someone beeping. Alright, well, back to the video.
His top agent on the case, Karen Sympathy.
Yeah, okay, that's the other clever joke. There's so many clever jokes in this movie. Why were most of these clever jokes put in such a mediocre movie? I will never know why. But that is a funny joke. Care and sympathy. As a kid, once again, I never got the joke. When I grow up, it's even better.
Played by Piper Perabo. Looper, that's where you know her from.
Looper, and also Coyote Ugly, which I think came out the same year as this, or came out before. Don't remember.
She's so idealistic, warm-hearted, and beautiful, she can't help but smile when she's called idealistic, warm-hearted, and beautiful.
Idealistic, warm-hearted, and beautiful
Look at the
FBI
camera.
agent
Yeah, that's
Karen Sympathy.
Damn it, this movie's charming! I want to kiss me and carry me off to a castle! Give me something to work with!
Are you familiar with the Rocky and Bullwinkle show?
Oh! I mean,
Never heard of it.
Okay, that was Nickelodeon TV movie awkward. We're back on track. All
Okay.
that's missing is a visual gag. Even a haunted house wouldn't use.
It's almost...
2 clever jokes in the scene, I remember.
All that's missing is a visual gag. Even
General Foods.
a haunted house wouldn't
General Foods.
use.
It's almost...
And then their third one, General Admission. That was funny. And then this joke.
Almost as if there were a
mole in the White House. That is funny. As a kid, I never understood it. I just thought it was funny. That it was just funny. I just thought the joke was funny. Yeah, a literal mole working in the mole working in the White House. Like, oh, they're not as prejudiced. And when you're older and you start to get more of obvious of how governments operate, and you hear how these spies and companies, and you hear about how the CIA, informants, all that. That's what's funny. So the fact that they say there was a mole in the White House, and there's an actual mole by his side, and he's like, well, that's just ridiculous. And then later on in the scene, when when De Niro leader, gets his message, he's like, it's a message from my mole at the White House. That was the funniest joke. This is easily the funniest joke. I don't think anything is gonna top this. Like, so far, if I'm on record, the Iron Curtain joke, attached to the project, Karen Sympathy, the 3 generals, and now the mole in the White House. Damn it, movie! How did you get so many clever jokes? You're supposed to be a mediocre movie the internet despises.
Yes! This I can work with! In that it doesn't work. Which worked for me! I have a weird job.
Hey, that joke was clever. The mole in the White House joke is more clever than anything.
So she sneaks into the studio to try and bring Rocky and Bullwinkle to life by literally choosing the genre of the movie they're about to star in, and using literally a green light to create them.
Green lighting a movie. That's the 6th joke. We're now on 6 clever jokes here. 6.
This is so meta, even the Muppets would turn to the camera and say,
You know I'm just a bunch of foam with a puppeteer attached to me, right? I don't even know how many more fourth walls we can break.
I think you just broke the 16th wall. Or you've entered the 5th dimension.
But it works, and our 2 heroes are set free.
Rocky. Bullwinkle.
It's such a pleasure to meet the only reason Dave Coulier got a job on Full House. Something you'll notice very quickly is that the animation on the 2 of them is clearly computer generated.
That's the interesting thing.
You would think that this would make them seem less, well, animated and more solid and slow. But in a strange way, it actually works. Rocky and Bullwinkle didn't exist in a world of motion. It was mainly an excuse to make verbal jokes. So in this environment, nothing is really lost. If anything, it really kind of looks like they're in the scene interacting with people, despite them obviously being cartoons. It's not as good as, say, Roger Rabbit, but it is better than other movies where clearly they never look like they occupy the same space. The CG surprisingly really fits. Now, if only that somehow upped Rocky's Prozac prescription.
Wait!
That's interesting, because, I've seen the behind the scenes of this movie. Yeah, I'll show you a picture if I can find it on Google. Bullwinkle, Rocky and Bullwinkle movie, behind the scenes, pics. I remember there was a behind the scenes picture of it. Don't know where, but I do know that they would often have stand-in models for like Rocky and Bullwinkle. So they would have they would do the same thing that they did in Roger Rabbit, surprisingly enough, and Industrial Light and Magic worked on this. ILM Maybe it's on the website if I find it, because I do know that the film, one of the film's VFX supervisors, was the same VFX supervisor. Let's see. Yeah. This is Panaflex Millennium. I think that's the Panaflex Millennium, essentially. And the film was also shot by the same cinematographer who shot Jumanji, which had a lot of effects. And yeah, let me see. Visual effects projects. Let me pause the video first. Well, I couldn't find it on the website, but I did find the IMDb page. So I'm looking at it right here. Famous people here from ILM. Here's one. Roger Guyett, who was, of course, I thought it was Stefan Fangmeyer, but I think no, it's Roger Guyett. Who did the visual effects for a lot of films. He was the co-VFX supervisor for what was the name of it? Saving Private Ryan. He did Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban, Mission Impossible 3, J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. If I'm not mistaken, I also think a lot of people from ILM worked on this movie. Yeah, Russell Earl, lead technical director. Russell Earl, who's one of the VFX supervisors on Avengers Endgame. That's interesting. So, yeah, they hired some really good people. So, the effects in this movie, I've seen how they did them. The effects, aside from a few clever jokes, are really good in this instance. Not Roger Rabbit, but it's still good. I like the effects. This Roger Guyett page is gonna not open up quickly, so let me just go back to the video.
Wait a minute. Why do we take an airplane? It's just not right.
Yeah. The most pessimistic character in this movie. Although the best thing about this, another good thing, is that they brought back June Foray to voice Rocky.
If I had to. We're supposed to be the hero. I guess the world just doesn't need us.
I swear, every time he's on screen, he's always bitching or moping about something.
That's not what you said before. Bullwinkle, that's not what you mean. What network are you from? What's the point? No!
Even Eeyore would be like,
Christ, I'd rather be thrown in a fire with a Velveteen Rabbit than listen to this guy.
Yeah.
So they outrun the police because clearly the FBI couldn't ask to do any of this, and they make it to her.
That's the FBI in a nutshell. They never ask to do anything. They never get permission to do anything. Forget it.
Car.
Did you watch her show?
Did I watch your show? I loved your show.
You did?
I'm a beautiful lip gloss wearing 19-year-old woman. Of course I've seen Rocky and Bullwinkle. I look just like the rest of our demographic. We also see Bullwinkle's antlers can intercept radio frequencies.
Bullwinkle, cover up your nose.
Oh, okay. But I was just getting jiggy with it.
Don't they know every time a movie makes that reference, God's finger gets a little closer to smoting us?
But I was just getting jiggy with it.
Yeah.
So the villains begin their hypnotizing test to see if they can make people dumber.
Those are the test audiences for practically every Hollywood movie. I wouldn't be surprised.
There has never been a way to actually destroy a cartoon character until now.
What about that movie Roger Rabbit?
Shut up! This is totally different!
No? That was funny. It was a funny line, funny delivery. Even that awkward silence kind of made it work.
Yeah.
Again, it really is like Rocky and Bullwinkle. Some of the jokes are funny, and some of the jokes are awful. That's always what they were.
Yes, all that's missing are the confusing jokes. The ones that don't make sense as a kid or an adult.
Oh, like, I don't know, having an unexplained kid as an evil scientist?
Yes, that would be mighty confusing.
The computer degenerating imagery, or CDI as I like to call it.
Why, that's as odd as...
A random animated weasel they just found?
Now I know what happened to my friend Freddy the Ferret.
Hold on.
Random animated weasel?
Cell animation cell. Okay, that was pretty clever.
They just found?
Now I know what happened to my friend Freddy the Ferret.
Oh.
Oh, it's okay. Before you even get a chance to question it, they throw in a funny line, so you completely forgot what you were confused about.
Send him where all worthless cyber junk ends up. The internet.
I feel delighted, annoyed, and puzzled all at the same time.
Exactly. That was Rocky and Bullwinkle. What was the movie up to? Could it be so clever that it was purposefully bad in some places and purposefully odd in others? No, it has to just be bad. This is 2016 internet, and I will not allow anything down the middle, especially for the feature.
Oh, I don't know. This sound effect's becoming pretty annoying.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, that is entirely bad. But in Sci Fearless Leader's eye, there's a cartoon. Because the director said they'll get it. When suddenly objects start falling from the sky.
Look out!
You're the one driving. Beware me. Thank you, me. They get away, though, leaving Boris and Natasha to face the punishment of Robert De Niro's in-joke.
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
And when I say in, I mean about as in as John Travolta or Tom Cruise. It's so not in that it's pretty much out. The two of them steal a helicopter.
I don't know why they had to put that joke in. It's like, every time they put a reference to Taxi Driver in a kids movie, it does not make any sense.
From a very strange Jonathan Winters cameo.
I'm sick and tired of shopping for
one of his 3 cameos.
Boy, if I had a missile, I'd blow your buns right out of the sky.
I'll leave that alone. He was very old and said yes to 2 of these, for God's sake.
Yeah, I miss Jonathan Winters. You know, I really do miss him.
But our heroes get intercepted by a possibly stranger cameo from John Goodman.
But she really is with the FBI.
Yeah, and I'm really John Goodman. Let's get in the car.
You know, after Blues Brothers 2000, I wouldn't admit I was John Goodman either. So they're separated from their Coyote Ugly co-star. Yes, that's the other one you know her from. Put it down. As they partake in, what a shock, more puns.
We don't have time to get to Washington.
This is no time to worry about getting the washing done.
You know, Rocky and Bullwinkle really need a pun scale. Something to show which ones legitimately work and which ones are Hitler's ass scratchers.
This movie's getting kinda...
Don't say it.
Two-dimensional.
Oh, great! There's no telling how low that pun will go!
Starts watching Rocky and Bullwinkle again.
Damn it, Lucifer.
They're picked up, however, by a duo of hey, this was a thing.
Keenan and frickin' Kel. Yeah. This is obviously back when they still did the Keenan and Kel show, obviously.
See, where you guys been all this time, huh?
Reruns.
You know that's never gonna happen to us, right?
How does Yours on Nick at Night sound? Yeah. Reruns, that's never gonna happen to us. Yeah. I actually wonder whatever happened to Keenan and Kel.
Boy, I don't know whether to feel bad or... No, that's the only option. They go to the boys' college, which was actually a school Bullwinkle went to in the show, but there's just one problem. The college is anti-moose.
There's the animated freak now!
What is with all the moose hate in this? What, did he violate your safe space with his giant antlers? Is he now on the wall of entertainers that are too shocking to perform at colleges?
Too scary to perform at colleges. Oh. Alright. Bullwinkle, Chris Rock, Seinfeld, and out of all, for some reason, Larry the Cable Guy.
Speaking of which, Karen flirts with a Swedish guard by promising to take him to the movies if he gets her out. But is it me or are her hand gestures a little too, symbolic?
How would we eat our popcorn?
Well, we could eat our popcorn with one hand and hold hands with the other.
Yikes! Thank God Bullwinkle wasn't firing the puns on this one.
No.
Boy, she really knows how to squeeze my hose.
Bullwinkle.
I'm just saying, she really knows how to make the wet stuff come out.
Bullwinkle!
Oh, and when I say come out...
Okay, don't come crying to me if the FCC leaves a horse head on your mattress.
At least I wouldn't be the only one getting head.
Oh, Christ.
At least I wouldn't be the only one getting head. Oh god, that is pretty weird. Hold on.
Bullwinkle! It's my who? Thank God Bullwinkle.
Hold on, I want to say a few jokes before we go back to the video. Oh shit, the quality dipped again. Please, oh.
Well, we could eat our popcorn with one hand and hold hands with...
Hold on. Ah, son of a bitch, I can't believe I am having a loud car pass by. Okay, nothing. Hold on. Netflix, are you still watching? You know, the girl and her boyfriend. Hold on. When you're just about to pull out. The only thing that can make this better, you just add the brazzers on that one, and it's like, yeah.
Oh, Christ. Back at the college, Rocky sees Boris is about to attack. So he tries once more to see if he can remember how to fly.
Got to save Bullwinkle!
Luckily, Rocky had delicious Taco Bell tacos.
He foils their evil plan, saves Bullwinkle, yet somehow still finds something to be upset about.
Yeah. Taco Bell joke, though.
Guess I've lost the knack. I'll never fly again.
Seriously, Zoloft, Prozac, that creepy shit from We Happy Few. Take something, you depressed woodchuck!
Yes, Bullwinkle's speech was so inane that the students couldn't understand a word he was saying and consequently found nothing to object to.
Oh my god, this movie may have predicted the future.
Might have. No.
Nah, they'd always find something to object to.
Yeah.
Plus,
true.
there are some legitimately funny scenes, like the nice Swedish guard who helps Karen escape to go to the movies. She totally abandons him. Doesn't even think twice. Honestly, this movie really does have a lot of the characteristics of the original cartoon. Right down to some of it being brilliant and some of it being painful.
I love that joke, though, of the Swedish guard. He's the funniest one.
I'm sorry, but it really is a good adaptation. But why this film? Why is Rocky and Bullwinkle the adaptation that works? With all the great cartoons turned into live-action shit, why is this the one that gets all the effort, even down to the flaws? These other adaptations deserve better! These other adaptations deserve better! What are you saying? I'm saying from now on, the movie and I are enemies. Because it chooses this piece of crap to represent perfectly when other adaptations deserve the attention. Because it is unjust, unfair, unkind. I will block it. I swear it. I will hinder and harm that feature on Earth as I am able. I will ruin Moose and Squirrel.
Cut music.
You know people already hate it, right? Well, yeah, but I'll make them hate it even more. That's not very impressive. You're not very impressive.
Yeah. Freaking ad blocker again.
So Rocky and Bullwinkle race toward Chicago, probably lured by their filming tax breaks. It wouldn't last. Where they race toward Chicago, probably lured by their filming tax breaks.
Yeah.
It wouldn't last. Where they drive through two Italian peasants just so they can crash through some fruit carts in their chase. If that's not funny enough, get a load of this weird silent moment.
Yeah.
I have no idea why that was there, but it just cracks me up. Was it supposed to be an out-of-body experience? Like, we're supposed to hear their thoughts? I never did tell her how I really feel. You know what'd be pointless right now? A Billy Crystal cameo.
Oh, yeah.
Volume! Now that's a soft mattress.
This cameo just fixed my pipes in my summer home. Yeah, a lot of the cameos in this movie, if you haven't noticed, don't really make a lot of sense. It's the equivalent of using an unpopular appearance.
That is true. A lot of the cameos are really just there. Just cause, oh yeah, they were popular. Like the Keenan and Kel one. Even though it's out of place, at least well, yeah, it is out of place because then they stop the journey to go to the university, and then they get the car, and then they head to Chicago. And yeah, but there's a lot of weird cameos. Like the John Goodman one is like, yeah, no, I'm really John Goodman. Yeah. What else? The 3 Jonathan Winters cameos. It's like, yeah, he must have got 3 times worth his money. I am hoping.
Twice for no real reason. We just saw him! We just saw Jonathan Winters! Why are they using him again? Oh, and it doesn't tie into any joke. It's not like that's his brother or his look-alike or the same person. It's just Jonathan Winters as a different character. Hell, why not complete the trilogy and have him pop up as another completely different character? I'm high. I am completely high. Why would there be 3 Jonathan Winter cameos? What? Was this in his contract? He had to play more than one character no matter how brief or pointless? What if he had that same contract in Smurfs?
Hey everybody, do you like my new dress? I got you now, Papa Smurf. Meow.
He doesn't always have to be a one-man everything.
I would not say that Smurfs movie could have been better if Jonathan Winters was all the voices. But it would have made it less grating. I don't know. I'm still confused now.
Our heroes escape the villains again, which just curls Alexander's reverse Hitler stash, but Karen tries to encourage Rocky to conquer his fear of flying. I feel like we've done this already. Uh-oh. This is the most exciting moment since, let's look at the clock here, 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes ago is when this happened. I was just as excited then. Actually, no, I'm less excited because we did it, what was it again? 20 minutes ago! We come across this image that, quite frankly, I have no words for, as the villains lie about.
I think it's just the thing, if, you have to set the final act in New York, it's like, quick, put a picture of anything. Like, so this was made before 9/11, so you would put the Twin Towers there. But no, that was a thing. It's either Lady Liberty or the Empire State Building. But pre 9/11, you could show Twin Towers, but obviously you can't show the Twin Towers.
Destroying our heroes, making Fearless Leader very happy.
Excellent! My faithful minions, excellent!
Go home, movie. You're drunk.
I'm drunk. Yeah.
I clearly haven't licked enough toads for this. How is it Robert De Niro has been in movies where he's worn fake boobs, and yet somehow this seems more demeaning? Well, at least they get chocolates, though. I have so many questions. Karen and Rocky get captured and see what Fearless Leader has done to the other agents. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the main cause of your bedwetting tonight. Look close. Look close indeed.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, this is Doug Jones. That can't be right. I have to. That looks a hell of a lot like Doug Jones. I mean, if it is, I wouldn't be surprised, because Doug Jones, obviously does a lot of roles in makeup. This can't be right. I've seen Doug Jones, Doug Jones, actor. Yeah, Doug Jones, actor. Yeah, contortionist and mime artist. Also, the dude's 60, and he looks pretty good for his age. Let's see. Yeah, that is him. He is legitimately the Carrot. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Doug Jones. That's Doug Jones. I mean, I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised that he was in this movie. I wouldn't be surprised if it was him as the Carrot, but I guess as a kid I didn't know who Doug Jones was, but now that I know who he is, I'm like, wait, what? In fact, what movies has he done as like a mime, where he was a mime essentially? He was, all right. He's just done so much. Yeah, Ape Sapien, and from both Hellboy films, a Silver Surfer actor for like the full body Silver Surfer. Yeah, that's just. Also, basically, he's also Saru. Oh yeah, the Roger Guyette page loaded up. He's also Saru on Star Trek Discovery. He's easily one of the better parts. Like him, the actor who plays Tilly, and Tig Notaro is in, of course, Star Trek Discovery. She's, I wish there was just a spin-off series of just Tig Notaro's character in Star Trek. It would be better than Discovery overall. But I mostly wait until the season's end, and then I see the ratings on IMDb, and then I pick the episodes. Let's watch. Let's finish this.
There's no way you're getting those urine stains out of your mattress. Not terrifying enough. What if we meld it with a beautiful lady and one of your cartoon icons? Rule 34 has nothing on this insanity. The Lord knows someone's jerking off to it.
No.
Meanwhile, Bullwinkle accidentally lands in Washington.
Well, as long as I'm here, I might as well talk to the president about the trees.
Oh yeah, the trees are still a thing. Is this like a last-minute environmental message?
Probably.
Because it's not worked in very well. I don't think Gone with the Wind would be very powerful if they suddenly threw in...
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. I have to handle something else entirely now. Oh, Jesus, I'm like 52 minutes in, and I haven't even finished it.
And by the way, don't smoke.
Yeah.
But Quaid is still there and realizes the best way to get Bullwinkle to save them is to email him over. So
Hold on. I now remembered. Cappy Von Trappment is the name of Randy Quaid's character. Cappy Von Trappment. What is the reference? Is it Von Trapp? Von Trapp, obviously. That's a reference to Sound of Music. I don't know what the reference is there. All I know is that they say he's the hard-boiled FBI director. That he's just, kind of gruff. I mean, if I did Hard Rain, I'd probably lose all my faith in humanity and never want to do anything else again. I hated Hard Rain. I thought that was a terrible, terrible film. It's so bad even Morgan Freeman hates that movie.
Realizes the best way to get Bullwinkle to save them is to email him over. Say, what's this site called Tentacle Hentai?
Save it! See? I am stood virtually still
No, thank you.
at RBTV.
No, not really. We just want to show off we could do that effect.
Essentially. Although I don't know if they actually did the same trick they did in The Matrix, where the way they did the bullet time scenes was that they would have the camera and then they would have multiple camera shots lined up for that.
But it's too late, for everyone is under Fearless Leader's control and he forces the world to vote for him.
Vote for Fearless Leader.
We will vote for fearless leader. Either one works in this scenario.
Yeah. When was this made? 2016. So this was made, you know, when this is clearly made during the election. If you did this video now, it would be either Trump or Biden. It's like, yeah, either one worked in the scenario. I don't care anymore.
But Bullwinkle's antlers reverse the signal, and he slams into De Niro, surprisingly holding back a raging bull joke. I would have done it. I would have done it.
I'm probably glad they did not do it, because, you say, I would have done it. And then if you did it, you'd be like, yeah, eat my own words.
Everything gets wrapped up, and our heroes, of course, save the day.
Literally.
RBTV changed its name from Really Bad Television to Rocky and Bullwinkle Television.
What's the difference?
Wow, I think Rocky's negativity is really rubbing off on him. Y'all gotta learn how to love yourselves. Speaking of which, Karen is allowed to love her inner child because the film reminds us that was a thing. And she even goes back to the Swedish guy who was still waiting at the movies the whole
That is the funniest payoff joke, that he's still there, waiting. That is easily funny.
time. Damn it, that's funny! I don't care if he looks like James Marsden melted into Greg Sestero, it's still a funny joke!
Ow. I have a toothache again.
The trees are looks like James Marsden melted into Greg Sestero.
He looks more like Rex Sestero than James Marsden. I'm sorry, he looks more like Greg Sestero. Looks more like Greg Sestero. I'm telling you. Tell me this. Yeah, if someone told me, does this look more like James Marsden or Greg Sestero, I'd say it's Greg Sestero. It's even got his smile. Sort of like the same facial expressions. I wouldn't be surprised if he was going to be the original actor for Mark or something. Because I hear for The Room, Sestero was not the original actor for Mark.
Sestero, it's still a funny joke!
Yeah.
The trees are planted again until the next computer-generated jackass complains about them and all is right with the world. Except for the fact that it's here. It's here on Nostalgia Critic, and you know what that means. Destruction. Destruction of the feature done by the destroyer of films, Nostalgia Critic.
Essentially, yeah.
What passion, what comedy. He has been touched by the internet gods. And Hollywood forced to listen. Hollywood that decided this was going to be one of the most faithful adaptations, while other adaptations deserve better. I, for once in the end, laughing at them. Still, I have to admit, I kind of liked it.
What?
Okay, it's nothing great, but Rocky and Bullwinkle wasn't really anything great either. It could be brilliant, but it could also be kind of lame.
Yeah.
It could be creative, but it could also kind of be phoned in. The jokes overshadowed the story and characters every time, but that was always the idea. And that's precisely what this film is. It captures its source material to a T. Even the trailer redubbed a lot of the lines so it would sound lamer for some reason.
What's the difference?
A very huge difference.
So it's no wonder nobody wanted to see it. It has a similar feel as George of the Jungle. It's obviously meant to be a kid's movie with some tongue-in-cheek jokes for adults. But it never loses track that it's mainly just meant for kids. Yeah, again, for the most part.
Yeah.
And as kids' films go, this is fine. No classic or anything, but a solid C+. If you're not a fan of the original cartoon, you probably won't be a fan here. But if you have a soft spot for puns, good or bad, fourth wall jokes, and kind of an awkward yet still likable charm, God help me, I actually think this is enjoyable enough to watch. Are you surprised by my choice? My ability to disagree with the masses. My ballsiness to enjoy... Are you surprised by my choice? My ability to disagree with the masses? My ballsiness to enjoy something so universally despised?
Oh boy, you really can't talk a man's ear off. So you really liked Rockadoodle? Get out of here! Okay.
Oh, no, that's something different.
Oh, and tell all the others that enjoy mediocrity that I will speak for them. I am their champion.
Has he gone crazy?
I think the real question is, was he ever sane?
Mediocrity. Mediocrity's everywhere. I find you all okay. You're okay. You're okay. All your mediocrities are okay. You are all average.
I am surprised, although I've seen Doug have certain differing opinions on my opinions. I don't know, I love Doug Walker, but sometimes I think it's okay to agree to disagree. Yeah, I do remember there was a post-credit scene. Dog! Cheesy cartoon sound effect. But I do get it. The one thing he said where it's like, you know, judging mediocrity or something, it sort of reminds me of my varying movie opinions overall. There have been several times where, you know, someone will enjoy a movie and they'll say it's decent, but I eventually end up seeing it, and I'm just thinking, what? Case in point, Iron Man 3. I am the only one on God's green earth who considers Iron Man 3 to be the worst film of the MCU. But others think it's better than Iron Man 2. And if you think that, that's fine, but I have tried 3 separate occasions to like Iron Man 3. And I always fall back on the same problems I encountered with them on the first viewing. I think someone spoiled it for me and I thought they were just joking. Turns out they weren't joking. What happened in the movie was exactly what happened. And the fact that you have Sir Ben Kingsley in your film as the villain, and you treat him like a throwaway joke, like, oh no, I'm not the real Mandarin. It was so bad that Marvel ended up making All Hail the King as an apology film. You know, and they sort of leave off the illusion, oh, by the way, the Mandarin is actually real and it's still out there, because, you know, that was what the movie was, because one of his assassins kidnaps Ben Kingsley's character. There's also another movie I know Doug enjoyed that I did not like. The Amazing Spider-Man. Both films in this occasion. I know 2 is obviously the one, and I agree with everyone on 2. 2 is not a good movie. But The Amazing Spider-Man 1 as well. I think the problem is, you had such a good cast in it. You had Andrew Garfield, you know, just coming off of The Social Network. You had Emma Stone coming off of, like, Zombieland and Crazy Stupid Love. You had, you know, Dennis Leary, underrated in my opinion. You had, I think, Riz Afons. And you also had, who was the actor? The Masrani actor. Irfan Khan. The underrated, Irfan Khan. Gone too soon. I miss Irfan Khan. He was one of my favorite Indian act. He's one of my favorite Indian actors. Like the Indian Tom Cruise, he's very famous. Irfan Khan, and the thing about the Amazing Spider-Man was it was a movie that was essentially made. Oh shit! The internet went out. It was a movie that was essentially made just so Disney can hold the rights to, just so Sony would not have to sell the rights to the character. And in that instance, I think the movie failed very miserably because it's like, what's the story? And the movie looks ugly to begin with. I know people complain about the color palette of the MCU, but I thought The Amazing Spider-Man 1 was a very ugly looking film. Also, some of it was shot in 3D, I think, and that was the whole 3D fad that was going on. But no, it's like I know so many people like The Amazing Spider-Man, but I am just in the minority who did not like the first one. There are so many people who think the first Amazing Spider-Man is good, but it's not. I would rather watch Spider-Man 3, the Sam Raimi one, than watch Amazing Spider-Man because, you know, even though Spider-Man 3 is essentially a mediocre film, it's better, in my opinion, in style compared to Amazing Spider-Man. Because, like I said, those movies were just made just so Sony can hold the rights to the character without having to sell it. And yeah. There's also instances in The Amazing Spider-Man where they start off a storyline and then they just briefly abandon it. For example, Peter tries to find Uncle Ben's killer in the movie. And then halfway through, the plotline is abandoned. It's like, what? You're not going at. Come on, man. Another thing is, Irfan Khan's character shows up in the movie, and then when we see him in the climactic bridge scene, he's like, he's gone. It's like, wait, what happened to him? And also, don't get me wrong, I love Riz Ifans, but his character was just not good. It was not the best version of the Lizard. It was not. I'm sorry, I disagree very heavily. Like, his plotline, he becomes a lizard just because he wants to regrow his arm back. And from what I know, there was a deleted scene which had a son. It would have been better, but Tony's like, no, 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 we want him to turn everybody into lizards, essentially. Which is grade A bullshit stupidity. And the sad thing is, Steve Kloves wrote the movie. Look at the writers. Like, Irfan Khan filmography. Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man. Look at this. You have so many great writers here. You have James Vanderbilt. You have Alvin Sargent. And you have Steve Kloves, the writer of 7 of the 8 main Harry Potter films, and one of the writers of Wonder Boys, and the director of Fabulous Baker Boys, obviously, writing your Spider-Man film, and it sucks in terms of quality. How? How is this possible? You have such a good writer. Yeah, look, Steve Kloves, before the Amazing Spider-Man, the Fabulous Baker Boys, Wonder Boys, 7 of the 8 main Harry Potter films. Good writer, and then boom, it sucks. And then same thing with James Vanderbilt, who's also a really good writer. But essentially, Steve Kloves is returning to screenwriting, and he's writing Fantastic Beasts 3, which I'm hoping, with him involved in the screenwriting of it, makes it a little better. Then Alvin Sargent. And I know I know Doug likes the Amazing Spider-Man 1, but I disagree with him. I think the Amazing Spider-Man 1 is bad, and I'm sorry. Yeah, also he passed away, essentially. So, yeah. And next thing, let's see what else here. Yeah, Alvin Sargent. James Vanderbilt, another good writer. Like, Darkness Falls sucked, but, Basic, The Rundown, Zodiac, The Losers, and, what else is the movie? Yeah, Truth, another good one. And, apparently he's writing, the new Scream movie, and he also, yeah, I'm just kind of, yeah, the point is, I understand, and I will say, looking back on it, this movie isn't as half bad as the internet makes it out to be, but it's at 4.2 on IMDb. I'd give it, yeah, I'd say it's easily it's an okay movie. I would watch it if on a, if I was doing something important. If I was just like wanting to have some background noise and occasionally watch the movie, go back, watch the movie, go back. Yeah. But I'm going to call it to an end here. This was The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle by the Nostalgia Critic. I'll leave a link to the original video down below, and a link to my Instagram, and a link to Channel Awesome. Thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you do subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified. And, yeah. I've been in this for about an hour. So, Godspeed, everybody, and take care.